Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk Thinking, right? Out here in my lab, and I'm in the book. I'm breaking down the tree of life philosophy, what we call the Anunian Theurgy of the tree of life, cosmic honor mythograph. I'm gonna break down each level. I just gave you the noon. Now we're gonna go into the duat, the pet, and the tie. What the hell is that? When I get done, hopefully you'll understand. Stay tuned. Let's go. The teacher's on duty. Better hear me good. I'm about to teach. Let's rock. Rightisms. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories. For life, I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't know how to answer it for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself as to my be true. All right, right thinkers. P-Funk philosophy on a more detailed description of the Anunian Theurgy, tree of life, cosmic honor, mythograph breakdown. Let's go. This is what it looks like. We've been going through the tree of life. I break that down for you. Where's all them, got all the pictures right here. Yeah, this what I'm doing here. I'm breaking it down. We're at the second level. I gave you the noon. Now we're going to the duat right here. So, wish I had put the blue screen or whatever, green screen. I not either one of them. But this is where we are now at this level. It's all mind. We're dealing with the upper level, like they call the subtle objects, okay, of your mind. And that's where Tahuti, Maya, and Ra dwells. Okay, let's talk about it. So, firstly, you should begin to notice, or if you pay attention, follow along, that the Kemetic iconograph is a very balanced and very structured and a very orderly in its depictions of males and females. They keep it balanced. The Anunian cosmic anomythograph has a certain balance between the male divinities and the female divinities, which reflect, complement each other. That's what we're supposed to do. If you do this and I do that, we get together, we can make something happen. But if you do that and I'm doing that, we can't make nothing happen. This is due to the what? Recognition that there must be what? Balance between male and female elements in order to have proper equilibrium, balance, and stability, not only in the creation of the universe, but also in the promotion of beneficial culture in society and to have a positive spiritual evolution within every human being. That's our right. Your inalienable right is to be your best self. All the other nonsense, don't go for that. This balance in your life was also reflected in what we call secular affairs of ancient Egyptian life. In government, business, etc., it was all spiritual, wherein men and women were accorded equal legal rights. Women were just as equal as men, and when it comes to rights, when it comes to lit, education, teacher. It wasn't no only a man can preach. Says who? Oh, a man. But the idea back then from my ancients, they called the tree of life was the teaching of the Anunian Theurgy. And as depicted in the Anunian tree of life, cosmic anomythograph is based on creation myth. Remember, we create the myth to educate, to teach. So stop worrying about if it really happened. Y'all Christians, y'all so hung up on literary stuff, you forget to learn the message. Get the message. Never mind who the messenger was. Was he real? No, get the message. Esoteric teachings, meaning you need to pay attention and listen. Why? There's something here you need to pay attention to learn. That's what's being taught. That's why it's being presented. So the myth of Anu. Anu means the first time, the first place. Okay? Anunnaki. You about them guys? Yeah, I know about them. But the Anunians are the oldest religious philosophical concept group people. No. Moving on. But, excuse me, Anu and the pyramid text, fluent in pyramid text of the Anunian Theurgy, okay? It made a lot of sense. I'm still practicing as good knowledge, philosophical concepts as you can stand on. But the Anunian Theurgy is one of the main theurgies of the Kemetic religion. There's three. Again, it's five, but three majors. There's a few other that spin off. But everybody got a creation story, and that's fine. Again, no, this is a myth. So you can make it any way you want. Dress it up however you want. Get the point across. They get the message, they implement it, then it can work for them. That's why religion is being misunderstood. Why? Y'all ain't transmitting it right, so y'all can't get the benefits of it. When it's done right, it's a beautiful thing. Netarianism, like right there in philosophy. Netarianism is the theurgy of Netta, studying of God, learning how to get to God. We're trying to calm down. You need to understand you can get to God for yourself. You don't need the church, you need the mosque, the temple, you don't need none of that. You do need the lessons in life that you can learn from. That's what I teach. And all of the Kemetic divinities, we call them Netaru, meaning plural, more than one. But they are all the aspects of the one divinity. Again, everything from the one and of the one divine self. You can't tell me it's more than one God. No better than that. Everything after the one comes in pairs. God is singular, everything else is paired up. So understand that. Philosophical concept, okay. He said no. Wherever got the right to believe what they want, I'm going with them. Netter, singular, one, it's pronounced nature, okay. The one divine self-differentiation itself differentiates itself out of the primeval, undifferentiated matter which we call the noon, which was God just at rest. Nothing going on. That's what Prophet likes. He likes it just like that, nothing. So his whole goal to keep it like that. When Rod decided, I want some movement. So he got up and called down who? Maya. Of course, after he came out, he need order. Why? Everything was chaotic. That's why. And defining self-mastery, as the 33rd Mason tell you, they give you all this hoorah to tell you the goal is to find order in chaos. Oh, really? I'd have put my foot in your butt for stringing me along with this nonsense. But that's what they do. Esoteric teaching, the goal is to teach you through steps and process. I get it. In the whole meantime, it's a business because they're going to take your money. But it creates aspects or forms of itself. Again, God have everything of himself. Again, starting with principle and forms. Let's go. They carry out several different tasks we call functions or elements of nature that sustains his creation. Before he put us here, before he brought us into existence, he made sure everything we were going to need when we got here was already here. That's called all-knowing. That's why he gets the title, okay? So he didn't act haphazardly to know all this is well planned. Ain't willy-nilly, okay? So these aspects is what manifests through what? Cosmic nature. And within the realms of different dimensions of existence. So the cosmic natures are listen to me. The Netherworld and the realms are, we know them as Ta, the physical, which is when we in. Pet, that's the heaven. We consider the astral plane where the physical body can't go, but the mind goes there. You go there. And the Duat is where you go in the end if you make it through. And the noon is where it all started. And if it ends, that's what it's going back to. Back to nothing, conceptually. The dot started everything. The Big Bang started with a dot. So here we will continue to discuss or discourse on the tree of life with the Duat realm. We're going to talk about that right now and move forward or downward through the cosmic mythic graph of the tree of life. See, we started from the top. We're working our way down. The goal is to start at the top, work your way down, and then go back up. Spirit falls to matter. Matter gets conscious of itself and goes back to spirit where it started. That's the concept. That's the philosophy. Everybody got one. They just dress it up different, but that's the same philosophy. Just dressed up in different clothes, different philosophy, different sayings. Moving on. Hope you understand that. I chose the Egyptian philosophy. They got a bunch of Hindu. I could have chose anyone. I'll make my decision. And unlike my dude Alan Watts, love him, I didn't just practice it, learn it, and master it. I live by it. So let's go. That's my dude. So now we down here, we talking about the Ta, the Pet, the Duat, and the Noon. So here we will continue to talk about it. And I showed you here again. In the Duat, you have Tahuti, you have Mayat, and you have Ra in the three phases, morning, noon, and night. Cycle of life. Okay? In the morning, he comes out crawling. What goes on 4, goes to 2, end up on 3. That's man, cycle of life. But Ra starts out in the morning as Capri the scarab beetle. At noon, he's Ra in his prime, where he's shining down. Everybody bows to Ra at what? Noon, high noon. When he at his highest point, everybody recognizes him. That's nature, not no person, not no Christ. Stop. And at the end, he's Ratum. He's going in the end. Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end. The end, he's Ratum, going into what? The afterlife, the underworld, where a whole new ball game for him. But then you got Mayat, which represents duality, imbalance. There you go. Right there. What a lot of people bypass her. I don't worry about that. But when you start talking anything outside of God, that's Mayat. Why? Duality. Male and female. Opposites. Yin yang. Okay, that's harmony. That's Mayat. In case you didn't know. Okay? The signal for yin and yang, look at it. It's just enough black in the white. It's just enough white in the black. They both go together. You can't have one without the other. That's what Mayat represents in this physical world. You can't have one without the other. Let's go. If you got good, you gotta have bad. You gotta have up, you gotta have down. This is all philosophical concepts. That's what Mayat represents. So that's my girl. And people tend to just skim by like it ain't nothing. Oh, really? Moving on. All right. That's a little person thing I got going. All right. So remember, Tahuti is the mind, your thought process. He keeps record of everything. Yeah, that's your mind. That's your brain. That's your memory bank. He's the scribe of scribes. He keeps track of everything. That's God's mind. He resides in the temple. And I just gave the breakdown of Ra. Mayat represents balance. Now, Het Hadu or Hathor, y'all know what the Greek say, but Het Hadu is the female version of Haru, the house of Haru. Okay, the physical body that encourages the spirit is female and male. We use it as it's androgynous, really. They call Haru the great he-she. So he's Haru and Het Hadu at the same time. But they split them up. You get, again, duality. Everybody got a mate. And they got kids. Okay, that was the consort. But yeah, these are life. In each one of these aspects of your character, we gave it a life that you can study and learn and emulate it. That's the difference. And like you study anything else, learn it, implement it, and you see how it works. Okay? Learning the trick, understand how to trick, but not actually doing, then you can't do the trick. You ain't a magician, you just know how the trick is done, but can you do it? So moving on. Learning something and not implement it, did you know it? Do you know it? Implement it to prove you do. Let's go. So the Duat, and I forgot to say this. It says it's spelled D-U-A-T. In Egyptian and China, Japan, they swapped out sounds. Our D is the T sound, and their T is the D sound. And I don't know if everybody knows the etymology. I did a little study with that too. So yeah, I laugh because I hear people pronounce it. It should be Tuat. Okay, this little tidbit again. I just got information that's pretty useful until every now and then I get to use it. But yeah, the wording, the spell is different, and everything with a D it's pronounced with a T, and the D a lot of times is silent with Tahuti. Okay, Tahuti is spelled with a D. DJ. Okay, so some people say Tahuti, Tahuti, Tahuti. But that's your brain. That's your mind. Why? It keeps track of everything. These is real people, but it's aspects of your brain. I just figured that out in 30 years. I'm trying to give you the heads up. So yeah, this is the operating of your brain. You think in duality. That's my app. Okay? That's the power and the spirit that's in me and you. We got that too. All these is in you. So understand that. They're breaking you down. And I'm starting to realize that, yeah, from head to toe, we got you covered. So right now we in the head. It's all mental. So let's go. And duat means the netherworld. What does the netherworld? Remember that all of the following divinities I just gave you arise from your original, the what? Non-dual self, your personal self. That emerges from what? The homogeneous, meaning male and female. Okay? No gender. Non-dual prime ocean. Okay? It has the power to create. It has the power to give life, receive. Okay? Me, male and female. Okay? Is in one. After that, everybody's going to be distinguished, male or female. So the most important duat divinities are the god I just broke down for you, Tahuti, which is the mind, and the goddess Mayat, who represents duality, and Het Haru represents the power that's in you, the spirit. Tahuti represents intellect, right thinking. Yeah. And my man said, why you didn't take that name? That's yours. No. I know they represent, but that ain't what I represent pure real. Okay, that's the difference. So my name is Speak Funk for that reason. When you can define and represent what is you talking about, that's the whole point. And that's the idea of learning about the God and goddess and aspects of you. When you can define it, understand it, it makes a lot more sense now. So Tahuti represents your intellect, aka right thinking. Mayat represents order and balance. That's why you see me doing this. That's my favorite goddess. She represents balance and duality. But in this context, primarily, we're just going to use her for the order specifically. All right? And the ordering of what? Disordered, undifferentiated, primeval matter. Disorder is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that it does not have a particular form. Like the ego, it ain't bad. It's just rough around the edges. Okay, it just ain't cool. And that all it means is you should not give it a negative condemnation. Why? When we are engaging in the philosophical study of this teachings, though from a egoistic perspective, disorder, or what we call chaos, okay, can be troubling in some cases. Again, you hear what he said? In some cases, it can be. That don't mean its whole intent is to be chaotic. No, it falls in this category of what? No knowledge of self. Okay, that's the ego. It's ignorant. So it's going to do a lot of wrong things. So, but that don't make it evil. Break that down later. But so in our context, it refers here to unformed matter. Mayat gives it form. Haru is the energy, the source that sustains or that holds that form. So Mayat is the order itself. Now we will look at the pet, which is what? The realm. The realm may be likened to the concept of causality. What's causality? Over here. Yep. Right here. Another breakdown. Levels of realms right here. Over here, the metaphysical part, this is the concept we're going to break down. Noon, the duat, pet, the ta. Physical astral, netherworld, the Duat, and the end, the casualty, the all. That's where God dwells. When you get here, that's where you go. That's the concept. And on here, you see, we're gonna deal with the elements right here. We're gonna deal with shu, which is air, tough nuke, moisture. You got Geb, represents the male. The earth is represented by the male in the original story. Why? Because heaven is represented by the female. That's why she's always on top. The sexual countess, the woman is always on top. Man represented earth, she's on the bottom. So all that ego trip, no, I won't be on top. No, women on top. That's ego thing. Nature don't give a damn about ego. That's what I'm trying to say. So you, man, shut up. All right. So now we're going to talk about this planes of existence from the tree of life. I just wrote down right quick. Metaphysical causality planes of what we call conscious existence. The noon we know as to be the absolute, the all. That's where you go when you go to eternity. That's where you're going to end up. That's the all. That's it. That's it. You ran trip, whatever, heaven, okay. But the duat I just gave you, that's called the casual plane, where it's the subtlest plane of creation. That's why you got all mental concepts there, nothing physical. Everything there is mental. You got conscious center of consciousness of the individual. Astral plane, that's the pet. That's we call that heaven. Why? That's the subtle plane where the body can't go, where the mind operates with ideas, thoughts, imagination, your dreams, all that stuff is in that level, and it ain't the senses, it ain't the body. So that's called the astral plane, which is heavenly, because it's all up here mental. The physical, which is the Ta. Egypt was called Tamari, okay? Land, okay? Or what? The blessed, the love of the land. They knew all of that. They had everything they said. They had to break that and understand it in purpose and meaningful. The Greeks come in, change everything the way they were. Oh, we commission. Y'all the Egyptians. We call our God Osiris. We call him Osiris. The goddess is Isis. She's Isis. The sun is Haru. It's Horus. Still can't get over it. Obviously, I'm still having issues, but moving on. I'm trying. Wrap it up with this quick session. The physical plane, where we are right here. The physical body. Pata. When I'm in Ra Pata, we in the Pata realm right here. The physical part, the self-created one, where he uttered himself into existence physically. The physical plane, the most dense, the heaviest level of all of them, that's where we are, physical. And the creation where living beings, spiritual beings having a human experience is what? The tie, the physical world of existence with physical senses, aka a body that runs on the five senses of smelling, seeing, hearing, touching, and tasting. That's how it relates to the brain. The brain, when it goes into subconscious mode, it don't need the body. It can still function. Okay, understand that. So, pet means heavenly. This is heaven. This is hell. Okay, simple concept. All right, so in the pet realm, we have what you call space. That's shu, air. We represented by the air. Ether, some call it, which we know it is shu. Again, we gave nature identity. We identify with nature. Air that we breathe in shu. Okay, we have Gab. We walk on Gab. We live on Gab. What? That's the earth. We call it Mother Nature. No. You call it what you want. The original concept is the male, and which would know is earth. We walk on Gab. We have tough nuke, which is water. The body is 70% water. The earth is 75% water, but the water that tough nuke brings comes from our top. Okay, so yeah, moisture in the air. When the dew, that's tough nuke. And nuke represents heaven. And when her name is spelled N-U-T. We pronounce it nut. Okay, no. In Egyptian, the U sound like the double O sound, ooh. So like ooh, like haru with the U, who, nu. N-U, nu, not nut. So I didn't give you grammatical etymology at least, but two things I learned about that, and I get laughing. I hear people who don't know. But you notice that we are moving gradually from the subtlest, the highest, down to the physical. The most dense, the physical, and the essence of stratum from the subtlest essence of the mind concept, coming down to the more gross and physical principles. I just gave you the elements: air, water, earth, and heaven. Okay, the elements along with sun, which is Ra. That's creation. Now, this is what the sages have broken down creation into different levels. Now we about to take it to the last one. But this is what creation is made up of. These principles. Remember, principles. Maya, Tahuti, these are all principal philosophical concepts that once you understand them, you can manifest them and it makes sense. But now we will look at the last and final one, the Ta realm. That's the physical realm of the physical body. And the Ta means what? Earthly, worldly. So in other words, physical. Okay? In the Ta realm, this is the physical realm which we live in. Three-dimensional. We have the divinities that go to compose what? Our personality. What you mean? Listen, pay attention. This way it gets good. Of the human being. I gave you that earlier. But in animals. But most importantly, a soul is what we call the eternal soul. That's when spirit becomes matter. That's what a soul represents. The soul in the physical form on the Ta level. Aset, she represents wisdom and intuitive knowledge that's inside you already. It's given to you by nature. Your job is to bring it to light, so to speak. Get it together. Set is your ego. Set in the part of you that thinks is God, so he edged God out like he did his brother, killed his brother so he could take control and be a man. You ain't made it what your brother made it. You got no dignity, no respect, no pride, your ego built, so you don't need to lead nothing. But if you allow him, he'll run you. Okay, that's the name of that game. So you don't want your ego in control. Trust me. Nepet, she represents mortality. Aset represents immortality, the eternal part. She represents the physical part, nature. If it's born, it's going to die. But it'll be back. Okay, regeneration. But she represents mortality. And then my favorite, Haru Who the hell is that? That's you reaching self-mastery like me. When you know yourself, you become great, like Muhammad Ali. I am Bruce Lee. When you do something to the point when you get your best at it, that's greatness. Okay, I'm preparing for greatness. My phrase is, I practice for what? I'm preparing for greatness, to be my best self. At Muhammad Ali, like my man. But Haru is you king on earth. You master yourself while in physical form on earth. And this encompasses this male and female principles are Nephotep and Asuet, which are the most primeval opposites. That's motion and rest, if you will. They arise out of Ra directly also, and they are principles, again, of rest and movement. Can't have one without the other. Okay, here we go again. Everything is got an opposite, okay, respectively. Nephotep and Iaseti may be thought of as fundamental divinities that together with Ra creates a triangle in the pyramid encompassing what we call the matrix of creation. They got everything together. And here's the four at the bottom. This is the pet. This is the bottom of the ring right here. You got a saw right here. Oh yeah. Yeah. And the left side is the even numbers, the right side the odd numbers. The females is the right hemisphere. Okay? They think emotion, they feel. The man is the left side of the hemisphere. He thinks logic and rational reason. And what Maya teaches you is to use both discriminately, equally, so you don't have just one-sided thinking. I'm a man, I think like a man. No, think equally, think right. Okay? So you got Saw, Aset, the ego, Set, and not that. I just told you about that. But at the bottom, you see Haru here? That's you after you defeat your uncle, become a Haru Bordet. But as a kid, you don't know yet, so you're being taught. That's Haru Bakar. That's you without your inner vision. That's you without self-knowledge. You're still being taught to let alone. That's all the ignorant people who don't know themselves. The goal is to find yourself. And so I just showed you. There's so many, there seems to appear at the bottom of the cosmic mythograph, outer mythograph, instead of the dua, the realm of respect, along with the Tahudi, Mayat, and Hadhadu. But in reality, they are not at the bottom. No, they, including Ra, are surrounding the creation as if the world is inside a sphere. In the sphere, there is no top or no bottom. That's why God is recommended by the circle, no beginning and no ending. So they encompass creation, but we must also keep in mind what? That outside of this sphere of creation, the universe, there is also spirit. The spirit is within and without. However, in the three-dimensional model, when lines are connected between them, their trinity encompasses what we call the obelisk, okay, at the top, capstone. And their creative principles contained in it, meaning that it's governed by them. What principles that you follow, that you practice, that you bring to life, you create in your own. And watch this, bringing it home. The goddess Nephotep and Ashueti are important aspects of what we know to be the Anunian Theurgy and are closely associated with Ra. Together with Ra, they form what we call an important trinity, which circumscribes the nature of creation, and creation is engendered by the primeval force, or we call spirit of the divine, which is fire of the supreme being, which we call Ra, and through Heka, words, sounds of power. Time and space are actually relative aspects that come into existence through the motion of objects in space. Essentially, therefore, creation consists of an ever-dynamic fire, aka the spirit Ra, which operates through energy, Sekim, serpent power, or y'all know the Kundalini, which sustains life. The elements of the relative motion of objects within the matrix of creation, all that was here before we got into existence. However, the spirit that underlies all, and therefore it can move nowhere since it is what? Everywhere. And objects in creation move in through the spirit and are rooted, dependent on said spirit for what? Their existence. If objects were to be completely motionless in space, there would be no existence. For example, all hearts would be still and no stars would burn. No heat would be produced and no life could exist. Why? Because no metabolic functions could occur. If objects were to be perpetual motion, there would also be no creation because what? The motion itself becomes a constant that will allow no awareness, no existence, and no replenishment. So reorganization and recreation of elements, food, stuff, or fuel would be possible. All would be used up and all would cease. So awareness is a factor of relative motion. In an action that the mind performs, if that action were to cease, your mind stop thinking, your heart stop breathing, the world as we know it would cease to exist from a perspective of what? The mind that has ceased to operate, to move. The mind, the heart has to do one thing. Like the sharks in the ocean, they got to swim to live. The mind has to operate by what? Functioning, by thinking and operating on a whole nother level to make the body function. That's the concept. That's the lesson. I know it took a little while, but I hope you got the lesson. I'll be back with more. I'm not done. So in closing, right, think, oh, this is what it looks like. Excuse me. That's Ra, Ashanti. That's Ra, motion, and rest. That's what it looks like. Triangle, the Trinity. Everything is about the Trinity. All right. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me, 100 miles a day. So I know that my right thinkers who now know a little more detailed description of the Anunian theory, the Duat, the Pet, and the Tie that passed away. I'll be back. You know the deal.